Hey YouTube, it's Catalova. If you want more MotoAmerica content, check out the new and vastly improved MotoAmerica Live Plus app. It's the only place you can catch all the race action in one place all season long. Click the link in the description below.
Here is our starting grid for the Stock 1000 race. Our pole sitter Hayden Gillim cleared the field by over a second. Benjamin Smith and Ashton Yates running out that front row.
Yeah, then it's Danilo Lewis, Bryce Prince, and Jason Urube.
So we head back to row number 3. Richard Kerr is a big name joining in the championship. Gabriel Da Silva, he had a podium in the first race back at Barber. And Andrew Lee back for the full season, but we know he missed that sliding lap. Lights are off. It's time to go racing. Race number 1 for Stock 1000 here at Brainerd International Raceway. Everyone's underway.
Yeah, and a great start for Jason Urube there on the outside there in the third. Hayden Gillim was pretty aggressive down into turn 1. I think all these guys know the pace that Hayden has, and they do not want to see him leading through this first lap.
No, especially after they all had to leave Barber Motorsports Park after the first 2 races of the season. And he won the first one by over 11.5 seconds, the second one by 10.5 seconds. They've been trying to catch up, and so far this weekend, he has just been the class of the field.
Yeah, and Benjamin Smith now is in a really good spot there with a great start in second. He's able to follow Hayden. Jason Urube also there on third, and just see how long they can latch on. Doing it in practice and qualifying is one thing, but we're going to see if Hayden can do it in a race.
See Benjamin Smith able to stay right there. Jason Urube doesn't want to get off of that third place on the podium, but he's right there to be able to take it over from Benjamin Smith. And we've seen a lot of speed out of Jason Urube. He's here for the full season, but you can already see that gap that Hayden Gillim has been able to pull, and we're only on lap number 1.
And this part of the track is where Hayden's really fast. Do this long right-hander out of this chicane. The Honda works really well. You'll see when they come out of this little chicane just how he squirts away a little bit further. Benjamin Smith also able to get through that chicane really well.
Some of the riders always take on the approach of, we're just going to settle in at the front and then be there to fight at the end. But for some other riders, such as Hayden Gillim, they know that if they push early, they can build a gap. Nobody else has a chance to catch them.
And then you control the race, and you don't have to worry about anybody else. So that Hayden Gillim has definitely showed that he's had the pace on these other riders all throughout the weekend. But from second all the way down to the 8th or 9th has been incredibly close. This is going to be a battle till the end.
Benjamin coming off of a podium finish in the second race back at Barber Motorsports Park, and considering that Hayden won both of the races, and then we had a couple of riders that were able to have strong results in both races, he put himself kind of outside of the top 5 after that first race and after that first round. And with only 5 rounds, each round matters so much. So if you have a weekend when you're off, it really magnifies itself here in the Stock 1000 category.
Yeah, and Bryce Prince actually started last, and looks like he's 5th on track, but he jumped the start, so he's got a 5-second penalty. So
with 3 laps to go in this first race, we mentioned every round of MotoAmerica is a doubleheader weekend for the categories this season. For Stock 1000, they'll have another race tomorrow afternoon. When the riders go back and they look and they see the start of this race and the start that Hayden got and his ability to pull out and increase that gap.
Passing each other and slowing up the pace, it'll let Ashton close that gap.
Well, you can see just in the picture how much closer he is turn by turn. He's saved a little bit in the tank. He didn't have the best start of the race. He started on the front row, and by the time they got down to turn 1, and Ashton was already, 4th and 5th and having to fight his way back up, but he's right there now. Back up to the front with our leader, our pole sitter. Perfect weekend so far. See the white flag flying. 1 lap to go for Hayden Gillim as you see that gap back to second place. We'll see as Benjamin Smith crosses the line. The gap right now is 8.8 seconds that Hayden Gillim has over the rest of the field, but Jason Urube is right there with them as we have a bike. That's Tyler Bingford that's gone down that 129, and he is up and making his way back over towards his motorcycle on this final lap of race number 1.
Yeah, just unfortunate the crash right there at the end. It's great to see him get up and able to walk off, and Hayden Gillim just doing what he's been doing all weekend, just putting these laps down. It's pretty incredible. We see a replay of the crash there. Didn't really see the beginning of it. Pretty big tumble though, so it's great to see him able to get up and walk off.
That was a big impact for Tyler. Thankfully, he did get back over to his bike. We go back up front to Hayden Gillim, and hasn't turned a wheel wrong. Roger, it's been a perfect, he led the practice session. He improved himself as he now comes around Stephen Shakespeare is at the tail end of this Stock 1000 field. 29 bikes were out on the racetrack for race number 1. And for Hayden, he led the practice session. He led the qualifying first session. He led the second qualifying session. And every time he found just a little bit more. And now in race trim, he rode a perfect race.
Perfect race, and you can see even with the lappers, he's able to take his time with the big lead that he's built. He's just been phenomenal so far this season. Not another wheel wrong, and it's going to be 3 in a row for Hayden Gillum.
He's got enough left in it to wheelie across, take the checkered flag. Congratulations to our race winners. We see Jason Uribe, who was out in the gravel after that battle with Benjamin Smith, trying to get himself into contention for the podium. So Ashton Yates was able to stick right there with them and able to take home that 3rd step on the podium. Benjamin Smith able to hold off and finished in 2nd. But for Jason Uribe, that was a big moment that could have been a lot more costly, showing crossing in 4th. Hayden Gillum, another perfect day for him as he takes home the victory with Benjamin Smith and Ashton Yates right behind him. Jason Uribe, we said, able to stay inside of the top 5 even after going off into the gravel.